I want to be clear about something. I'll walk away with this cash. It's done. No refunds, no buyer's remorse.
I get it.
We won't talk again, so I'll ask one more time. Are you sure you want this?
Buyer's remorse was mentioned in the story. It's that feeling of regret after buying something. Maybe you buy a new dress, but then you realize you spent too much money, or you don't really like it that much. That's buyer's remorse. In the show, it was part of a conversation about making decisions and dealing with the consequences. Now, some movie clips.
What's the matter, buyer's remorse?
No refunds, no buyer's remorse.
I have no buyer's remorse.
I think he's got buyer's remorse.
Enough with the buyer's remorse.
The trick to overcoming buyer's remorse is to have a plan.
Next.
Lover's restless conscience.
Nobody's home.
I know. I've been watching. Came to talk to you.
Although she would need to be discreet.
Keep working. What were you thinking showing up at the hospital?
I had to see if she was okay.
Need to keep a low profile right now.
Someone in the story was told to keep a low profile. This means to avoid attracting attention. For example, if a famous person doesn't want to be recognized in public, they'll keep a low profile by wearing normal clothes and not acting in a flashy way. In the show, the character needed to be careful and not draw attention to themselves because of a sensitive situation. Now, some movie clips.
Keep a low profile.
Keep a low profile.
I will keep a low profile.
Keep a low profile.
Way to keep a low profile.
He likes to keep a low profile.
I promise I'll keep a low profile.
I like to keep a low profile.
Next.
Look, you and I are finished. From now on, I'm sticking with Danielle.
Why would you say that?
I hate myself for what we did. Okay, I can't sleep at night. I've got to make a clean break.
In the story, John wanted to make a clean break from his affair with Gabrielle. This means to end something completely and start fresh without any connection to the past. Just like if you want to quit a bad habit, like smoking, you can make a clean break and never smoke again. In the show, John realized he needed to end the affair and move on with his life. Now, some movie clips.
You need to make a clean break.
You had a good chance to make a clean break.
Clean break is easier.
Try and make it a clean break, will ya?
I want a clean break.
Make it a clean break.
It's a clean break. Clean break.
Next.
Look, it's not even an issue anymore. John and I are finished.
Gabrielle, the church is pretty clear on this. If you commit a mortal sin and you die without repenting, you go to hell.
Aren't you just a ball of fun?
In a conversation, someone used a ball of fun to describe an activity. It means that something is very enjoyable or entertaining. For example, if you go to a really great party with lots of music and dancing, you can say, the party was a ball of fun. In the show, it was used to talk about how much fun an event or activity could be. Now, some movie clips.
You're a ball of stress, darling.
Aren't you just a ball of fun?
He's a ball of fire.
You're a ball of energy.
Is a ball of muscle.
There's a ball of squirt. It's a ball of bad nerves.
And you're a ball of shit.
Well, that'd be a ball of fun. Guys, this gay is a ball of dicks.
Next.
So, if I confess, it'll clean the slate, right?
Well, not only that, if you want God's forgiveness, you have to be truly sorry and you have to promise not to commit the sin again.
Gabrielle was thinking about how confessing might clean the slate. This expression means to start over without the burden of past mistakes. If you had an argument with a friend and you want to fix the relationship, you can apologize and try to clean the slate. In the show, Gabrielle was considering confessing her sins to get a fresh start. Now, some movie clips.
Clean the slate.
Clean the slate.
Clean the slate.
Just clean the slate.
Just wanted to clean the slate.
Clean the slate, so to speak.
Let's clean the slate right now.
This might clean the slate between us.
One more time to clean the slate.
I'm gonna clean the slate as much as I do.
Next.
In your mind, is the date off?
Well, you snooped around my house and went through my stuff.
Mike accuses Sousa, saying, "You snooped around my house and went through my stuff." He uses Snoop to say that Sousa secretly looked around his home without his okay. This shows he's mad about her invading his privacy. Usage explanation. Snoop means to secretly look around in a place or at things that aren't yours. It's not a nice thing to do. For example, don't snoop in your friend's desk. Practice sentences. As I'm snooping through the files. She's always snooping in other people's business. You can't snoop through your siblings' things. Now, some movie clips.
I'll snoop around.
How dare you snoop around this boat?
I'll snoop around here a bit more.
I snooped around a little.
She snooped around my personal stuff.
You can snoop around if you want.
We probably shouldn't snoop around.
She snooped around on my computer.
I'll go snoop around for it.
Hey, please don't snoop around, sir.
Next.
You snooped around my house and went through my stuff. Yeah, in my book, that's pretty much a deal breaker.
Mike and Susan are arguing. Susan found some things in Mike's house. Mike says, "You snooped around my house and went through my stuff, but yeah, in my book, that's pretty much a deal breaker." Here, in my book, shows Mike's personal view that Susan's actions are a big problem. Usage explanation. In my book means from my point of view, or according to my standards, we use it to give our personal opinion. For example, in my book, a good book has to have an interesting story. Practice sentences. In my book, a person who keeps their promises is reliable. In my book, trying new things makes life more fun. Now, some movie clips.
It's not in my book.
Well, in my book you are.
Not in my book. He's a thief in my book.
That's not a hero in my book.
This case is closed in my book.
Now that is theft in my book.
Not long enough in my book, Eddie.
You're all aces in my book.
My book, that makes you a chicken shit.
Next.
Yeah, in my book, that's pretty much a deal breaker.
Hold on a minute. Now, I started snooping around because I found all that money by accident. And then I found a gun.
Susan found something that was a deal breaker in her relationship. A deal breaker is something that stops a deal, agreement, or relationship from continuing. If you're buying a house and you find out it has a big problem, like a leaky roof, that could be a deal breaker. In the show, it was used to describe something that was unacceptable and ended a potential relationship. Now, some movie clips.
This could be a deal breaker.
Not a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker.
Not a deal breaker.
That's a deal breaker.
Too much sugar's a deal breaker.
That can be a deal breaker.
It's a pretty big deal breaker.
It's a deal breaker, okay?
I'm sorry if that's a deal breaker.
Next.
Ants, huh?
Yes. I've had a little infestation problem. I wanted to take care of it before I left on my trip.
Never had a problem with ants.
I've had a little infestation problem. In this context, they are referring to an issue with a large number of pests or insects in their place. It's a problem they want to take care of before going on a trip. Usage explanation. Infestation is a noun. It means a situation where a place is overrun by pests like insects, rodents, or other unwanted creatures. For example, there was an ant infestation in the kitchen, so we had to call an exterminator. This shows that there were too many ants in the kitchen, causing a problem. Practice sentences. The farmer had a mouse infestation in his barn. We found a cockroach infestation in the old apartment. A termite infestation can damage a house's structure. Now, some movie clips.
Infestation. Rodent infestation.
We're talking infestation.
It's an infestation.
Vermin infestation!
Not another infestation!
Still some larva infestation?
I have a major infestation. I just found this cockroach infestation.
The infestation has begun.
Next.
She ran out and bought herself a can of poison, something to spray them down. So she's taking aim at one of the counter and she just stops, puts the can down. Couldn't do it.
In the story, it described an action of pointing at a target. Take aim at means to point something, like a weapon or a tool, at a specific object. For example, when you play darts, you take aim at the dartboard before throwing the dart. In the show, it was used to describe someone trying to hit a fly with a can of spray. Now, some movie clips.
Okay, take aim at the target.
Hunter took aim at her.
They're taking aim at the creature now.
He didn't even take aim at me.
He could have snipers taking aim at us right now.
So she's taking aim at one of the counter and she just...
Then we could take aim at the golden gloves.
I sort of closed one eye like I was taking aim at it.
Took aim at all the self-important celebrities in town.
Next.
There are others who soothe their consciences with small acts of kindness.
In this story, people were trying to soothe one's conscience. This means to make yourself feel better about something wrong you did. If you accidentally break something of your friend's, you can offer to fix or replace it to soothe your conscience. In this show, the characters were dealing with guilt and trying to find ways to feel better. Now, some movie clips.
That will soothe your nerves.
Right.
Can we just soothe it out?
This should soothe your soul.
I'll give you a lotion to soothe that.
You do, you soothe my soul, savage soul.
I was only trying to soothe their fears.
One cannot soothe the crowd.
What did I do to you?
It's all about you, isn't it? Soothe me, save me, love me. I have to finish my job.
Now, recap. Alright, we've looked at 22 interesting expressions from Season 1, Episode 8 of Desperate Housewives. By seeing how these expressions are used in the story, you can start using them in your own English. Practice using them in conversations, writing, or even just thinking in English. Keep learning and exploring new expressions, and your English will get better and better. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll keep enjoying learning English.